Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Graduate Admissions Information Session for the Harvard Paulson School of Engineering and Applied Sciences. My name is Julie Holbrook, and today we're going to take a look at the application itself and go over some of the pages that we get the most questions about. And before we do that, we'll also take a quick look at the degree programs that we offer, and we'll give you some tips about completing a successful application. So the first part of the information session, we'll take a look at some slides that talk about our degree programs. The second part of the information session is we'll actually look at the application itself and walk through some of the pages of it. And at the end, we'll answer some of the questions that you've been submitting as we continue through the session. You can submit questions if you have a Google account. If you don't have a Google account, we'd love for you to stay. You just won't be able to submit any questions. If you, at any time, have questions about our programs after the information session, you should contact us at admissions@cease.harvard.edu, and somebody from the admissions office will get back to you with a response. We're so glad that you're here, so let's get started. The first thing we'll do is take a look at some slides. The slides will talk about the different degree programs that we offer, and we'll also talk a little bit about the application process. So, we're the John A. Paulson School of Engineering and Applied Sciences. We were recently given a gift by Mr. John A. Paulson for several $100 million, which will help us endow the school, hire faculty, and grow our graduate programs. Lots of students ask a very basic question about the school. What can you study here? We offer PhD admissions in applied mathematics, applied physics, computer science, and engineering sciences. Within engineering sciences are 4 subfields: bioengineering, electrical engineering, environmental science and engineering, and material science and mechanical engineering. The PhD generally takes between 5 to 7 years. It requires 10 courses, a qualifying exam, and then a major research project that you work with in collaboration with a faculty advisor. CEAS students are advised by members of the CEAS faculty. There's lots of interdisciplinary research happening at CEAS. So an applied physics student might work with electrical engineering students and electrical engineering faculty, for example. The same is true of applied mathematics and computer science and across the engineering disciplines. We also offer several smaller master's degree programs. We have a 1-year Master of Science degree, which is 8 courses and does not have a research component, or a 2-year Master's of Engineering, which is 1 year of coursework, 8 courses, and then 1 year of research that culminates in a master's thesis. We offer the master's degree in 2 areas only: electrical engineering and computational science and engineering. Note that there is not a PhD option for computational science and engineering. This is one of our newer programs, and it's designed for professional students. So for many of the students in computational science and engineering, they've been in a professional environment and industry and are coming back to do some professional development for a year or 2 with the idea of going back to work. Let's move on, and we'll talk about the application process. It's fairly simple. It's a wholly electronic process, so there isn't anything you need to send to us via hard copy or in the mail. Applications are due on December 15th. The application service shuts down that evening, so you should not delay in submitting your applications. We don't accept late applications, even if there are technological glitches. Our best advice to you is to complete the application and submit it before December 15th. We get thousands of applications, and you can imagine that everybody trying to submit at 5 o'clock on the 15th might slow things down. So do yourselves a favor and submit your application as early as you can. We'll go through what the application includes. It includes the application form itself, which we'll take a look at in a couple minutes, and the application fee, which is $105. You'll pay that online with a credit card when you apply. There's also a statement of purpose, a CEAS supplemental form, 3 letters of recommendation, GRE and TOEFL scores if the TOEFL is required for you, and copies of all of your transcripts. Transcripts include undergraduate transcripts, graduate transcripts, summer abroad transcripts, anything that you did as part of your undergraduate, and if you've got graduate work. Your letter writers will submit their letters directly to the application. You'll register them in their email addresses, and they'll get a letter or an email telling them how to submit their letters. You'll upload unofficial copies of your transcripts directly to the application, and your GRE and TOEFL scores will be sent to us by ETS. The code that you need to give to ETS to send us your scores is 3451. This is the code for the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences. The graduate school oversees the application process for us, and you'll be sending your materials directly to them. As you see, the application is available from the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences website at the hyperlink below. You'll go to this page and you'll create an online account with a username and a password. At that point, you can begin the application. The good news is that you can begin it, save your work, and log off, go back to it later, and return to it as needed. So lots of students begin the application now, get part of it done, put it aside, work on their statement of purpose, for example, and then come back to it. So we get a lot of questions about the best ways to make your application as strong as possible. So this is our best advice. Use the application to show us that you've done your homework about our school. We need to know that there's a good match of research interest between you and our faculty. And the best way to do that is to take a look at what our faculty are doing and who they are. The hyperlink cease.harvard.edu/faculty-research is a great place to start. You can search for faculty by name or by discipline. Go to each individual faculty member's pages and check out the research projects that they are currently working on. It's important that there is a match between you and what our faculty are doing. Be specific in your statement of purpose, but keep in mind we're reading thousands of these, so you don't want the statement to be much longer than 2 pages. You're welcome to mention specific faculty members or specific projects in your statement of purpose, and it's also a good place to tell us about you, what your preparation is, what your experience has been in a lab. This is your place to really let us know who you are. Another part of the application is where we'll ask you to identify 3 CEAS faculty in whose work you are interested. We'll look at this page on the application in just a moment, but be really thoughtful about who you list here. This is the way that we're going to get your application in front of the right set of eyes. So if you list Professor X, Y, and Z, we'll make sure that Professors X, Y, and Z see your application. Again, faculty are reading a lot of applications, and so we want to make sure that yours gets in front of the right people as early in the process as possible. There's a CEAS supplemental form where you'll be asked to rank your areas of research interests. It's part of the application, and we'll look at it in just a minute. You can rank up to 3 areas. Ranking more than 3 isn't all that helpful to us, but again, it's just another way for us to make sure that your application is seen by the right members of the faculty. 3 letters of recommendation are required. We get a lot of questions about whether or not you can submit more, and the short answer is 3 is plenty. If you want to submit a 4th, you're welcome to, but don't submit any more than that. The best letters are really specific about you. They should talk about your preparation for research, your creativity, any specific skill set that you have. For example, do you know how to use a particular kind of equipment? Did you solve a particular problem? They should also talk about your preparation for graduate school and rigorous coursework. We have students who've been in industry or in a professional job for a little while, and it's fine to get a letter from a supervisor or a manager in that setting. But at least 2 of the letters should be from faculty members at your undergraduate or graduate institutions. Choose people who can write letters that are really, really specific about you. Think about who those people are now and ask them to write you a letter. Give them plenty of time to submit the letter for you. And remind them of who you are and how they know you. What classes did you take with them? What grades did you get? What projects did you work on? Again, faculty are getting requests from many, many students. So do yourselves a favor and think carefully about who you ask, and then make it easy for them to write you a really great letter. On to the standardized tests. The general GRE is required for all applicants. The subject test is not required, but we do accept it if you've taken it in physics or computer science or another area. You're welcome to send us the score. The TOEFL is required for any student who does not have an undergraduate 4-year degree from a school where English is the language of instruction. Meaning, if you're a student for whom English is not your native language and you did a bachelor's degree in another country and a master's degree in the United States, you still need to take the TOEFL. We don't have any minimum GRE cutoffs or a GPA cutoff. Our minimum TOEFL is 80. We recommend that you've taken the GRE or the TOEFL no later than October, and it's very early November now, so maybe you can find a test date in the next couple days or in the next week. If you're taking the test now, we recommend that you pay to have your scores expedited. We need to have them by the deadline. So applications and all of the supporting materials are due on December 15th. Make sure that your scores are sent to us in time, and remind your letter writers to submit their letters by the 15th as well. Your letter writers will have an extra couple days, meaning the application will shut down for you, but it will continue to accept letters of recommendation. However, we can't review your application without your letters. So if on the 15th of December, you're not sure if the letters have been written, you can check the status of your letters online and then remind your letter writers. You want to try to do this, especially before the holiday break when it might be difficult to find people. For us, we'll spend late December, all of January, and early February reviewing applications. We make our admissions decisions around early to mid-February, and GSAS will send out official decision notifications at that time. If you are admitted, you'll have until April 15th to make a decision about where you're attending graduate school. This is a universal date for graduate schools across the United States, and so you'll have plenty of time to think about the different offers that you've got and visit some schools, and then you let us and all the other schools know by April 15th what your decision is. So below is a list of pages that prospective students find really useful. The first is about our degree requirements. As I mentioned, the PhD requires 10 courses and the master's degree requires 8 courses. This page will tell you a little bit more about the kinds of courses that are required. For application information, there's a whole section of our website devoted to prospective students, and there's also information on the GSAS website. If you have any questions, you contact us at admissions@cease.harvard.edu. This is the fastest way to hear from us, because many of us in the admissions office monitor this email. So we will exit out of the slideshow. Hi again. The next thing we're going to do is take a look at the actual application. We'll go through several of the pages that we get the most questions about and talk you through sort of what we're looking for and some other things. And then at the end of the session, we'll move on to questions that we're seeing from you. So for now, we're going to come on to the application. So this is the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences website, and you'll see that we have logged into the application. Where it says, "Welcome, Julie, your application is in process." Your name will be where Julie is, that's my name, and it will tell you if your application is in progress or whether it's been submitted. This is the screen that you'll get to after you create an online account with a username and password. A tip, once you're in the application and you've done whatever you're going to do with it for that particular day, make sure that you log out of the application. There's a log out button in the upper right-hand corner. If you don't log out correctly, the next time you go back into the application, you might have difficulty. It has to do with the application service and cookies and those kinds of things. So I really highly encourage you to log out every time you are finished working on the application in a particular day. So from this welcome screen, it'll tell you where you are in the process. And if you click this blue button where it says Start Application, you'll be brought to a list of pages. Each one of these things is a page of the application. The thing that we're going to look at first is program selection. So it's the third page down. The first couple pages are fairly straightforward: biographical information, address, telephone number, email, those kinds of things, and then contact information. The program selection is an important page because this application is used by the entire Graduate School of Arts and Sciences, and there are over 50 departments. So if we take a look at this drop-down menu, you'll see the myriad of departments that the graduate school offers admissions into. You want to select Engineering and Applied Sciences. Once you select Engineering and Applied Sciences, you'll have an opportunity to pick your subject. So you'll see a list of master's degree programs and PhD programs, PhD in Applied Math, PhD in Applied Physics, and so on. The terminal master's degrees are listed at the bottom. So the SM or the ME in computational science or electrical engineering. For now, we can be in a PhD in Applied Math. So you'll pick PhD in Applied Math, and then you'll have one more chance where you'll have to select PhD. You can save and continue at this point, and it'll bring you to a page for test scores. This is where you'll just enter your self-reported GRE and TOEFL scores if necessary. We'll scroll down and get to a couple other pages that are particularly important. Let's go to faculty. The pages in between test scores and faculty that we didn't take a look at are just places where you'll list your undergraduate institutions, additional information. Again, pretty straightforward. This page of faculty is the page I talked about in the presentation, where we ask you to list members of our faculty that do work that is closely aligned with your interests. So you'll note that the question says list Harvard faculty whose research fields seem closest. I'm going to tell you to list CEAS faculty here. SEAS has over 80 faculty and across 7 or 8 areas of study. You're welcome to look at any one of those. Even if you're applying to applied math, you're welcome to list computer science faculty members here as an example. You're applying to applied physics, you're welcome to list biomaterials faculty members here. You can think creatively about who you list, but they do need to be members of the SEAS faculty. In those top 3 boxes, that's where you'll list their name. If you've been in touch with any particular faculty member via phone or an email, or you know them, there's an opportunity farther down on this page to list those people. They don't need to be the same people that you've listed at the top, although they might be. It also is an opportunity for you to tell us how you've met them. Have you seen them in person? Have you exchanged email with them? Those kinds of things. But the most important piece to us are the people who you list at the very top of the page, that top 3 faculty. From here, there are more questions about your mathematics background, specific mathematics questions, language. We'll go to your statement of purpose for a moment. This is where you have an opportunity to tell us why you're a good fit for SEAS and why SEAS is a good fit for you. That is one of the most important pieces of the application, because if we don't do work that you're interested in, then this isn't the right place. We hope that it is, but you need to make sure that you tell us who and what about SEAS is interesting to you. But again, we're reading a lot of these, so keep it to about 2 to 2.5 pages at the most. List particular faculty member or research projects that you're interested in, and tell us about you and your undergraduate and graduate experiences, your professional experience, if that's applicable. Once you're done with the statement of purpose, we will move down to the SEAS supplemental form. Again, these pages in between, we're asking you to upload a copy of your CV or your resume, and then there's some other sort of more basic pages to the application. This is the SEAS supplemental form. On this form, we ask you to list your top 3 areas of research interests. And we have them grouped by our disciplines. So there is a group of applied mathematics, then there is a group of topics clustered under applied physics, a group clustered under bioengineering, a group clustered under computer science, and so on. You are welcome to choose from any area in this list, meaning if you are applying to mechanical engineering, which includes material science, and there's something listed in applied physics that's interesting to you, you're welcome to list that as one of your areas of interest. What we'll do with this information is query our application database and say, give me a list of all applicants who put theoretical and computational biology as an area of interest. And then we'll be able to find you and make sure that our faculty who do work in that area review your application. Don't list more than 3, but you can select from any of the disciplines. Further down is your fall 2015 grade report. This is new this year, and it was added because we were getting a lot of questions from applicants who wanted to submit their fall grades. So for most of you, our application deadline is before you get your fall grades. This part of the application will be available to you after the application deadline. This is the only part of the application that you'll be able to modify after the application deadline. And what you'll be able to do after the 15th of December, when your fall term grades come in, so end of December, early January, depending on your school, you'll be able to submit information about your fall grades here. And it will be automatically uploaded to your application. Again, this is the only thing about the application that you can change after the December 15th deadline. But we encourage you to do it, especially if there are courses that were particularly relevant to the work that you want to do in graduate school. Take a couple minutes and upload your fall 2015 grades here. It's just one more piece of information that's good for us to have. Scrolling down, there are some links down below that are important. This is where you can register your letter writers, check the status of your application, and then if you have questions, see the application instructions. So check your application is where you can go at any time after the deadline, and you can see what materials we have for you and what materials we don't. The link seems to be a little bit slow. So you'll see right now that my application is incomplete, and that's because I haven't filled out very much of it. What you'll be able to do here is see if there's anything that you've missed that you haven't provided information for, and you'll also be able to see if your writers have submitted letters. If you go to this page and you see that you're missing letters of recommendation, we encourage you to remind your faculty letter writers and your other letter writers to please submit the application please submit the letter for you as soon as possible. When you register your letter writers, they will get an email that says, please submit a letter of recommendation to the Harvard School of Engineering and Applied Sciences on behalf of Julie Holbrook. And it gives them a link. It's a very easy process for them. They don't need to print anything. They don't need to mail anything. So if they've lost the link, it can be resent to them. So it's a good idea for you to keep an eye on this particular page to make sure that your letters of recommendation get sent on time. And again, the application service will stay open for letter writers. So if on the 16th of December, you will not be able to do anything in your application, but you will be able to go to this page and check to see if your letters have been received. And if not, that's when you should start reminding your letter writers that it's that time of year. So for now, we will log out of the application and come back to looking at me for a moment, and we'll take a look at any questions that we've received. If you have a Google account and you want to submit a question now, it's a good time to do it. We'll take a look and see some questions that have already been submitted. So one student wants to know about our admissions process for students who might not be from the United States. And what I can say to you is that we have students from all over the world in our program. We have many students from Asia and Europe and other countries. And the review process treats everyone fairly. So we want to know about your undergraduate experiences. We want to know about any graduate work that you've done. The most important part of the application for us is to see that you can be successful in our program, to see that you can take 10 courses that are very rigorous and quantitative and technical and be successful in the courses, that you can be successful in a qualifying exam, and that you'll be able to conduct a research project that is interesting and meaningful and what you want to do. Again, our PhD program takes anywhere from 5 to 6 years, so you'll be here for a long time, and we want you to be happy and engaged. And we use the application review process as a way to make sure that we find students who are going to be a really good fit here and who are going to be happy here. So we get a lot of questions from students about, please let me know if you think I would be admitted. Do you think that I have a chance? And what I can tell you is that we can't answer those questions without seeing your application. It's just impossible for us to guess about whether or not you would be successful in our program unless we have an opportunity to see your grades, to see what the letter writers have written about you, to read your statement of purpose and hear what you want to do and hear how you think that you can accomplish it at the Harvard Paulson School of Engineering and Applied Sciences. And so while I would like to be able to reach out to every applicant and tell them what I think, it's really impossible until we can see a complete application. So a new question just came in about judging applicants on a holistic basis or unique qualities. And what I will tell you is that it's a little bit of both. We look at applications holistically, meaning we review every part of the application. We look at the grades, we look at the test scores, we look at the letters and your statement of purpose. And everything that's required in the application has been deemed useful by our faculty members when they're reviewing applications. That said, we have a lot of really unique students here. So we've had students who have been professional athletes and musicians and have interests outside of engineering and applied sciences, and we think that that's terrific because well-rounded students are generally successful here. Harvard is a place that offers a ton in the way of extracurricular activities and things outside of the lab, and students who have lots of interests are really successful here. And they tend to be a little bit more creative in the lab, which our faculty really love. If I had to say one thing use one word to describe sort of our successful students here, it's that they're really creative. They think critically and creatively about problems that they're trying to solve, whether they're scientific problems or otherwise. So we read each application really carefully, and a number of us read each application really carefully. Is the school stronger on research or theory? So I'm going to do my best to answer that. We there are 7 areas of study within CEAS. There is applied mathematics and applied physics, which tend to be more on the applied area of things. So there are separate physics and mathematics departments within Harvard University that are more theoretical. So a student who is interested in theoretical physics might be a better fit for the physics department, for example, but a student who is sort of more hands-on and experimental on the physics side of things might be more comfortable in applied physics. In a discipline like computer science, we have faculty members who are theoreticians, and then we have faculty members who are doing more like applied computation type of research. And so it really does, it varies depending on the discipline. Within engineering, we have faculty members who are doing more theoretical types of engineering, but a lot of our engineering is very hands-on. We have tons of laboratories scattered across 6 or 7 buildings on our campus, and we do our best to really build fantastic labs for our faculty to work in. So it doesn't look like we have too many more questions to answer. Again, I'll reiterate that we're so glad that you came, that if you have questions about anything that I've said today, or if you're going through our website and something's not quite clear, please feel free to shoot us an email at admissions@cease.harvard.edu, and we'll do our best to get back to you quickly with an answer. The best way to learn about our faculty and their research projects is on that faculty page on the CEASE website that I mentioned earlier. And if you just go to our website at cease.harvard.edu, you'll be able to link to the faculty pages directly from that homepage. And that is really the best way to learn about what our faculty are doing. Thanks again for coming, and we hope to review your application in the coming weeks. Take care.